A former member of Kathleen Wynne's transition team who was embroiled in a child porn sex sting 2 years ago is back in the news after emerging on a few questionable message boards. They've raised a few red flags. Michelle Mandel's here from the Toronto Sun. She's been working on that story. What can you tell us about Ben Levin and what he's been up to recently?
So Ben Levin, if you'll recall, is the very famous Ontario educator who used to travel around the world and make speeches about childhood education, was U of T prof, member of Kathleen Wynne's transition team, got caught in this sting, as you were saying, being on child porn online incest chat rooms. And he was found to have tried to counsel single moms on how to abuse their kids. And pretty disgusting stuff. He was sentenced to 3 years in jail, and now he's back in the news.
And I believe he's been appearing on academic message boards, raising a few red flags in the kind of information he's providing or the things he's interested in. Can you just talk a little bit about where he's kind of emerged recently?
Well, he's now on parole as of January of this year, and one of his conditions is that he's not to access or, have anything to do with child pornography or sexually explicit material. So, I mean, that's a given. But what he's doing seems to be on this message board. It's called ResearchGate, and what he's doing is he's looking at studies all about child pornography and pedophilia, and commenting on these studies. So what's interesting is that these comments seem to suggest that he doesn't really think that there's anything wrong with viewing child pornography. He makes a lot of statements in his comments about how there's no link between porn and behavior, and suggesting almost that it's a victimless crime, and that people are too panicked and overzealous in terms of how they treat this. And
he's out on parole now. He was originally denied parole for a few different reasons, and then paroled. Why was the board originally hesitant to grant him what he was seeking?
So Levin was sentenced to 3 years in prison, and he applied for parole, and he was denied full parole. He got day parole back in August, and the parole board at that time said, we're not going to give you full parole because we don't think that you still have insight into your crime, that you still don't think that there were any victims of what you did. And so they held back on the full parole and put him into day parole. And that changed as of January 2017. He was granted full parole, ostensibly, I guess, because he convinced the parole board that he does now have insight into what he did.
You can read more of Michelle Mandel as she unpacks this in Thursday's Toronto Sun.